saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran. Iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman, pinagmulan at babalikan. Konting tiis na lang at hanggang sa araw na yan ay asal. Kami nandito lang, sabay na pakinggan ang mga kwento nyo. Isigaw natin sa mundo, bagong bayani namin kayo. Sipag at tapang nyo, hinialay sa mundo, sinasaludo namin kayo.
Ako si Rose Eclarinal.
Ako si Jean Alcantara.
Ako si Crystal Dias.
Ako si Kiara Gregorio.
Sa Juan, you connect.
Isigaw sa mundo. Saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran. Iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman, pinagmulan at babalikan. Konting tiis na lang at hanggang sa araw na yan ay asal. Kami nandito lang, sabay na pakinggan ang mga kwento nyo. Isigaw natin sa mundo, bagong bayani namin kayo. Sipag at tapang nyo, hinialay sa mundo, sinasaludo namin kayo.
Ako si Rose Eclarinal.
Ako si Jean Alcantara.
Ako si Crystal Dias.
Ako si Kiara Gregorio.
Sa Juan, you connect.
Isigaw sa mundo.
Magandang hapon, UK. Magandang hapon. Kung saan man kayo naroon, ng araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal para sa live streaming ng JUANEUKONEK. Kwentong Pinoy, kwentong migrante, kwentong JUANEUKONEK. Ngayong hapon, makakasama ko pa rin po si Crystal Dias. Hi, Crystal.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday to you all. Hello, Miss Rose Clarinal. Nice to see you again. Dito sa live stream natin po sa JUANEUKONEK.
Yes, so mga nanonood po sa atin now, please share our link. Share it with your friends and families because we have a very interesting topic today. An inspiring story for our very first segment, which is about this Pinoy na talaga naman, Crystal, nakaka-proud. He's based in Switzerland, Dr. Melvin Sanikas. Malalaman natin ang kwento niya. Okay? And what do we have for Immigration 101?
What we have today, it's a very interesting topic. It's an application as a parent of a British child, but there is a question about the paternity. So tune in po. Our guest today, a very special guest. She used to live in Ukraine. Now she's actually battling her own war dito sa UK. But we're happy for her to have on the show later, Miss Sheena Palma.
Crystal, gumaganda na rin yung panahon. So, we will be out later. Bago yan, mainit na talakayan muna sa JUANEUKONEK. Kaya, ipapakilala ko na ang ating guest this afternoon. Panoorin po natin ito.
39-year-old Switzerland-based Filipino Dr. Melvin Sanikas is a native of Iloilo. He has found his ikigai overseas. Ikigai is the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. He found his reason to get out of bed every morning, something that makes him happy, something that he likes, something that he is good at, something he can be paid for, something the world needs. For many, this is a fulfilling life. Dr. Sanicas makes use of his time and expertise to give valuable information to people. He made it to the 93rd spot in the Analyticus list of top 100 healthcare professionals, influencing the coronavirus conversation and for his active role in disseminating facts about the new disease through social media. He is also one of the 10 outstanding young men in science and medicine. He co-authored a book entitled Frontiers of COVID-19, Scientific and Clinical Aspects of the Novel Coronavirus 2019.
So welcome on the show, our guest this afternoon, live from Switzerland, Dr. Melvin Sanicas. Hi, Doc.
Good afternoon, Miss Rose. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, wherever you are.
Okay. Yes, hindi ko nabati yung mga nanonood sa Pilipinas. Magandang gabi na dyan. Ngayon, Doc Melvin, tell us saan po kayong bahagi ng Switzerland now?
I'm based in Zurich, so German-speaking side of Switzerland.
Okay. Nakaka-inspire naman yung kwento ninyo. Naibahagi nyo sa akin na kayo pala ay nag-aral ng undergraduate sa University of the Philippines, and also you took up medicine in UP Manila as well. So, paano kayo napadpad dyan sa Switzerland?
Yes, interesting story po, Miss Rose. So actually, after I finished medicine and I passed the boards, yung idea ko before was to look for something na so parang path na hindi traditional. Kasi usually mga doktor pupunta kagad sa residency training, tapos fellowship and specialize in something. During that time, I thought I wanted to do something less clinical, more research, more public health oriented. And ang dami kong in-applyan sa Pilipinas, DOH, WHO, and many other NGOs sa atin. And unfortunately, I was rejected by all these organizations that I applied for. And so I thought it was a sign for me to look somewhere else. And so I found this ad sa newspaper, actually sa Jobs TV. It was a role for a medical officer role at the Ministry of Health in Singapore. And I applied. And long story short, nakapasok ako dun sa trabaho na yun.
Oh, I see. And Doc, ang nakakabilib sa inyo, Doctor of Medicine kayo, tapos hindi nag-stop doon, but you also studied and became a doctor, nag-masteral pa kayo at nag-PhD. Tell us about it.
So I finished MD sa UP and then I did a postgraduate diploma in health economics sa UK. I also did a master's in infectious diseases sa London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and a master's in vaccinology and clinical development sa University of Siena in Italy. And then I am also about to finish my PhD in microbiology sa Spain.
Wow, nakakabilib naman. Is that your first or your second PhD? First.
It's a first po. It's first.
Okay, so may dalawang masters ka and now you're finishing your PhD. So Doc, talagang you dedicated your life in studying and research, no? Because when you're doing your masters and you're doing PhD, ang dami talagang research na isinasabak kayo.
Well, yes, that's true po, Ms. Rose. But to be honest, mas gusto ko kasi talaga mag-travel, and all these other postgraduate degrees that I have done, one way or another, they allow or encourage traveling to places where I do my research. So, for example, yung master's ko sa infectious diseases sa Italy, my thesis then was about influenza research in southern Spain, in northern Italy. So it gave me a chance to visit those areas regularly. Tapos, yung ginawa ko naman na master's in infectious diseases, some of my research was done in South Africa in the University of Cape Town. So in a way, you're traveling, you're doing your research, you're meeting a lot of people, you're also experiencing the culture in the places where you go to.
Wow, ang galing. And tell us about this concept, yung ikigai. Kasi nakakatuwang pakinggan. So I was asking you kanina kung ano ba yan? Is that a way of life? Is a belief?
So, yung loose translation po niya, kung may mga nakikinig na Japanese, baka sabihin, ay, mali yung sinasabi niya. Pero yung loose translation po nito is, it's something that you are good at, something you love to do, something the world needs, and something that you can be paid for. So basically, it's doing something that you're passionate about, that you're actually helping the world or people, and you're actually paid to do these things. So kumbaga parang it's a perfect combination of passion, purpose, and livelihood, living,
I know. So hindi kasi lahat nabibigyan ng ganyang perfect match na
Yeah.
nagagawa nila yung gusto nilang gawin, and kung ano man yung trabaho nila, it pays well. So paano kayo naging vaccinologist during the pandemic? Is it because of your current work?
So it started po really talaga when I started working in Singapore, kasi my job there was as a research scientist for regulatory scientist for the Health Sciences Authority. Ito po yung parang FDA sa atin, yung Philippine FDA, or kunyari inyo dyan sa UK, it's called the MHRA or the US FDA.
Yes.
Yung agency po, di ba, na nag-a-approve ng mga clinical trials, ng mga vaccines and drugs. So I started working there, and it gave me an idea of what I can actually do with my medical degree and my biology degree, na hindi lang, kumbaga parang hindi yung pangkaraniwang, di ba, na kasi nakita natin usually yung mga nag-BBS Bio, nagme-med, tapos nag-specialize, and then you have your clinical practice. And this HSA job in Singapore actually opened my mind to other possibilities na pwede palang gawin. And so it started there po. And then I went to Italy to study vaccine development. This was in 2011, exactly like a decade before the pandemic started. So kumbaga, I had this 10 years of experience and educational background that allowed me to be able to work on COVID.
Tapos nung nangyari yung COVID, nagulantang yung buong mundo, Doc.
So,
Gaano kahirap yung trabaho nyo that time?
during that time po, I was not working on COVID because we didn't know COVID, diba? I was working on dengue, then a mosquito-borne viral disease, diba? However, before I worked on dengue, I was working on tuberculosis and influenza. And these pathogens po, alam natin, one is a virus, one is a bacteria, pero ano sila yung pinakamalapit sa COVID because they're also respiratory pathogens. And it basically yung background ko at experience ko from influenza and TB, they were very helpful in understanding SARS-CoV-2.
I see. Oo, kasi ang sinasabi, kumbaga in layman's term, if we were to talk about it, yung panahon ng pandemic is, nung nag-try to discover vaccine, is minadali yung lahat. Kasi nga, as you said, yung expertise mo, ang pinag-aaralan ninyo, iba. Tapos bigla na lang, the world, binulaga tayo nitong novel coronavirus disease, right? That scientists and researchers need to study that time.
Yeah, so it was really like a once in a lifetime event for not just for scientists but for everyone, di ba? Kasi it has never happened before na all the scientists and physicians in the world stopped what they're doing to just focus on one single disease. This has never happened before, even with HIV. It didn't happen with Ebola. Ito lang with SARS-CoV-2 talagang everyone stopped what they're doing and they focused on this one particular virus.
Oo. And then, so tell me, kasi alam ko nung panahon na yon, Doc Melvin, marami ring disinformation campaign on the vaccine. So, paano ninyo nilabanan yon? You being a scientist.
Well, mahirap siya. Mahirap po siya, especially now that we have social media, right? So, as many of us know, yung SARS-CoV-2, it's not the first coronavirus that caused some outbreaks. Kasi we had SARS-1 in 2002, and then we had MERS, yung Middle East Respiratory Syndrome in 2012. Pero during those times, na 2002 and 2012, hindi pa ganun ka, kumbaga, di ba ngayon parang lahat na sa Facebook na, or everyone is on social media, and the spread of the speed of the spread of misinformation and disinformation, iba talaga ngayon eh. Parang
Yes.
gagawa ka lang ng meme, after a few seconds, ayan na, kalat na sa buong mundo. And so it was very difficult kasi ang ginagawa ng scientists ngayon is not just looking for treatments and vaccines, but also answering these questions na made up lang. Di ba? Nagawa-gawa lang ng kung sino-sino. And parang nawala na sa atin yung pag-iisip na kunyari, if someone says something bad about the vaccines, parang naniniwala agad yung mga tao, and parang it's up to the scientists to disprove na hindi yan totoo, which is very counterproductive to what we're trying to do.
Correct. So, oo nga, ang hirap nga nung mga pinagdadaanan din ninyo at that time. So, ngayon, Doc, meron ka pa rin isang magandang balita, because I understand that you are coming up with a book. Ano po ito? Tungkol saan ito?
So yeah, this is a book called Frontiers of COVID-19. It's a book that I'm one of the editors and authors. 5 po kami na editors na we were chosen by Springer Nature. So Springer is one of the leading global publishing companies for biomedical science, for social sciences. And I was chosen among these 5 people. 3 of them are based in Australia. 1 is based in Italy, and 1 is ako, based in Zurich. And we were tasked to come up with a book that will cover different aspects of COVID, virology, epidemiology, vaccines, treatments, and many other things. And ang mahirap nga po nito is we started this in August, I think, of 2020. But because, you know, the knowledge about COVID is evolving, di ba? So mahirap siyang tapusin kasi every time na parang kunyari tapos na kami, may bagong variant na naman. Tapos kunyari tapos na kami, may bagong vaccine na naman na na-approve. So talagang it took 2 years for us to be able to come up with a body of knowledge na parang, alam, ito na, parang may mga changes pa siguro in the future, but I would say that 80-90% of the things that we need to know about COVID, medyo alam na natin. Ang hindi na lang natin alam, kunyari, yung long COVID, what will happen to these patients with long COVID, and other future variants. Siyempre, hindi pa natin alam yan. But this book has summarized na yung alam natin from end of 2019 to beginning of 2022.
Okay, wow. Doc, ang tatanong siguro ng mga nakababata pa who would like to follow in your footsteps, gusto nilang maging doktor, gusto nilang magkaroon ng master's, double master's, mag-PhD pa, maging vaccinologist. How to be you po?
So, I guess ang sinasabi ko lagi sa mga tao when they ask me, for me, yung most important thing talaga is to really know yourself, di ba? And know what you want in life. If science or medicine is something that can help you reach your goals in life, then I would say go for it. But if you think that it's not what you want to do, ay mahirap na pilitin ang sarili mo, di ba, na to have a career in science and medicine, because it's not for everyone. There are many other careers out there that can also give you your ikigai. But if you want a career in science and medicine, you need to be, firstly, you need to be interested in learning, kasi madami talagang kailangan matutunan, di ba, at marami pang kailangan matutunan in the future. That's one. And second thing that I always tell people now na medyo hindi na emphasize to in talks about careers is humility. I think you really need to be humble. You need to be humble to know that there are things that you don't know. You need to be humble that you should think about learning in different ways na you will learn from people na akala mo you will not learn from them. So for example, if you talk about infectious diseases, di ba ngayon we're hearing monkeypox na, di ba? Na maraming news about this monkeypox. For me, ang pinakamadaming alam sa monkeypox is yung mga scientists and physicians na nasa Western Africa. Kasi sila talaga yung nakakita ng cases ng monkeypox eh. Tayo na sa Asia, we haven't seen a lot of this. In US and Europe, very few cases na imported pa. So I think we have to learn from the scientists in Africa and the physicians in Africa. So firstly, I would say your interest in learning, and secondly, humility. You need to remember this, especially with the pandemic, no? Parang we were reminded that even if we think we know many things about science, we actually don't. And COVID has reminded us this over and over again with this past 2 years.
So, Doc, on a personal level, ano yung natutunan nyo during the pandemic?
One thing I think ang natutunan ko is, in general, ang mga tao, yung resilience. Kasi, di ba, remember, early on in the pandemic, mga May or April 2020, we were seeing all these cases and deaths sa Italy, for example, that thousands of people were dying every day, na parang grim talaga ang picture. But this also showed us the resilience of people in general, hindi lang yung mga frontliners, pati yung mga tao sa bahay, na parang even if you're just saying na kunyari ang kanilang contribution lang was just as simple as staying at home and wearing a mask. You know, these small little things. And then yung mga medical and healthcare professionals, of course, talagang kahit na pagod na sila, sige pa rin, pumupunta pa rin sa ospital. And even if they were very hopeless, kasi mas madaming namamatay nung time na yan, we didn't know what to do during that time, they were still going to the hospital and doing what they need to do and trying to save lives. So this was, for me, one of the best things that I at least personally have seen in the early part of the pandemic.
Okay. Basahin ko lang yung comments ng nanonood sa atin. Our viewer, Dan Revelo, wow, what a significant feat for such a young Pinoy. Te saludo.
Maraming
Si
salamat
Dan
po.
Revelo. We have Ria Viola Mendoza. Sabi niya, watching from Hampshire, UK. Ayan. Doc, saan pwedeng makuha o mabili, mabasa yung libro na you're part of?
At the moment, Ms. Rose, it's not yet available. August siya lalabas, sabi ng publisher. Most probably, this will be in libraries, no, especially in school libraries. But it's available sa Springer website. They can purchase from Springer.
Okay, so maybe pag malapit nang i-release yung book in August, you have to come back and tell us more about it. Ang panghuli siguro, Doc, I would like to encourage you, yung may mga manunood sa atin now and later na mahilig din talaga mag-aral. Kasi nabanggit natin kanina that, my friend, si Dr. Don Prisno, and he inspired me also in doing a lot of research in terms sa online, paano ka kung gusto mo mag-aral abroad. Kasi naikwento mo na when you were trying to find a job in the Philippines, it was very difficult na nag-fit doon sa what you wanted for yourself. So kung nasa Pilipinas yung mga nanonood sa atin at gusto nilang magpakadalubhasa in science, in the medical field, saan nila pwedeng hanapin yung mga information? For example, opportunities to work, and then secondly, for a scholarship to further their studies.
So first of all, I would advise them to look sa DOST website. There are information there about scholarships. Secondly, yung mga gustong mag-further studies, yung UP Open University po, UPOU. There are different graduate diplomas, masters na available doon na pwede mong tapusin without going there and living in Manila. For example, you can be anywhere in the Philippines kasi you can do it in a distance learning way. education mo. Thirdly, madami pong mga universities in the UK, in Europe na nag-offer din ng mga distance learning courses that you can do most of them at home. Pero you have to go to the city or the university, for example, once a year. So, for example, meron kayong mga 2 weeks na face-to-face course, tapos the rest of the year you're at home. So, kumbaga, ngayon, especially with the pandemic, na parang, di ba, we were forced to stay at home. Pero yung education, hindi naman nawawala eh. So, kumbaga, nag-evolve yung mga educational institutions. Gumawa sila ng mga paraan para maging mas available yung kanilang degrees and courses to people wherever you are in the world. I think it's a good thing.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for sharing with us your experience, your journey, your work, and this concept called ikigai. Meron ako natutunan na Japanese today. Maraming salamat and hope we have you back, Dr. Melvin Sanikas, sa pag na publish na and ready na for out in the market na yung inyong libro. Thank you at mabuhay po kayo. We're very proud of you.
Maraming salamat, Miss Rose. Maraming salamat, everyone. Stay safe. Get vaccinated. Get the boost if you haven't gotten your booster shot yet. Okay? Thank you po.
Salamat. Magbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK.
Ako si Rose Eclarinal.
Living upside down, feeling anxious from the crowd.
Para sa JUANEUKONEK, ako si Jean Alcantara.
I'm Crystal Dias for JUANEUKONEK.
At nagbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK. Now we're on to our second segment, Immigration 101 with Solicitor Crystal Dias. Hi, Crystal.
Hi Rose, hi everyone sa mga ka-connect po dito na nanonood this Sunday sa JUANEUKONEK Immigration 101.
Okay, Crystal. So I understand na interesting yung topic natin ngayon because hindi lang siya maraming actually the word is not interesting, a little bit controversial, let's put it that way. Dahil ang guest mo ngayon is a client na magbabahagi ng kwento dahil ito ay maselan. It's a paternity suit kung paano ba i-acknowledge ng partner ang kanyang anak, no? So please take it away. I'm interested to listen and learn from the segment.
Okay, thank you, Rose. So today, just for legal reasons, we're not going to mention about the other parties, but we are privileged, in fact, to have our guest today who went through so much this past year. She lived in Ukraine, I believe. I'm not sure if she's able to tell us something about that, her time in Ukraine. But when she came to the UK, her world turned upside down because the person who she expected to be with her child, did not come through. So, ang issue po natin ngayon is to do with paternity case. So, she decided to stay in the country when she got pregnant, and she was hoping she will have the help of the father of the child, but unfortunately it wasn't forthcoming. So she sought the help of social media and everyone else, to really fight for her case. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Sheena Palma. Hello po, Miss Palma.
Hello.
Come
Good afternoon.
on.
Okay lang po, stress.
Stress. Okay, don't worry. It will be very quick. We won't be long. But I would like to thank you personally for joining the show. This show is a platform for you to tell your story, because I know you've gone through so much in your life. But it's a good ending, diba? So let me just introduce to you the person who helped you in your case as well, because Sheena, in fact, is my client of Solicitors, and our team has been so hands-on sa case niya, and we have our guest today. Actually, she is part of JUANEUKONEK. She is a mentee, so she's part of the mentorship program because of JUANEUKONEK. She is an aspiring solicitor to be, and she actually finished her legal practice course and master's degree, where she got distinction and commendation. So please give it a round of applause. Okay, Micah Lee. Hello, Miss Lee.
Hello. Good afternoon and good evening.
That's a good entrance for you, right?
It's fabulous. Thank you.
So, just to be clear, obviously, you're not a qualified solicitor yet. You will be, but you are under my supervision. So, whatever work we did, it was under me.
Yeah.
Now, Miss Sheena Palma was obviously very happy with the result of her case, because this case is not a straightforward case, is it, Sheena?
Yeah,
Right?
not at all.
So, you can tell me, what you want to tell me. If you don't want to tell, little detail, then that's fine. It's just really, I want to find out more. You're from the Philippines, right? So, galing po kayo sa
Yes.
Philippines. Saan tiga saan po kayo sa Pilipinas?
Cebu.
Cebu. Okay, Cebuana
Yes.
kayo. Pero I know that you lived in Ukraine for a little while. Did you live there for how long?
For about 2.5 years, I worked and lived there.
So how did you find Ukraine? Because obviously what's happening with Ukraine right now, there's a war going on. And not many Filipinos actually that I know, except you, I suppose, who was there. So ano pong klaseng ang country ang Ukraine?
Ukraine is a very lovely place. There might be some, racism going on, but overall, there are very happy people and they're very kind and acceptance. And I learned so many things about them. What I learned so much is it doesn't matter if you communicate with them very well, as long as you spoke something about their language. It's like dobre den, jakuyo, or ya lubi something like that, and they will love you very much.
Oh, that sounds very impressive already. What did you say? What are they? What did you mean by that when you?
Dobre din is like good day. Jakuyo means thank you. Yeah, Lubyo means I love you.
Oh, that's very nice. Yes, definitely you need to learn that. Okay, let me just from picking up from Ukraine, po. You actually met your ex-partner there, the father of your child, correct?
Yes, I was on the process of my divorce, and my ex-husband and I decided to separate ways. Um, so I went back to the dating site, and I have no really desire of finding a man, but there you go. So he contacted me first from the very beginning, and somehow there was a big misunderstanding in our relationship, and so yeah, we went back and communicating again, and he tried to find me everywhere on social media, and that's how we reconciled. And he visited me before my operation for my brain tumor, and we met a few times. Like sometimes he stayed a week or over a week. Sometimes a day. It's just a matter of the income.
Okay. So it was a long relationship. It was a serious relationship. And then you came to the UK. When did you come to the UK, po? It was a valid visa, right? You came to UK with a valid visa.
So yeah, I'm a very passionate type of person. I worked in different charities and I volunteered. So I found UK has a great opportunities of accepting people to do the volunteering, like for example different charities. So I took that as a way of exploring myself, and that's how I applied the visa from the beginning. And yeah, that's how I got here in UK because of the volunteering for charity.
Okay. And I mean, you're obviously doing a good job. And because you found your partner who's British national, so we have to establish that he was actually a British citizen. So you thought, okay, it would be a relationship you think is going to work this time. So you felt pregnant, correct?
So I stayed here before I got pregnant. I stayed here for like about 3 months, and it turns out that I got pregnant. The first time I got pregnant, ended up having a miscarriage, and the second time it was another miscarriage, and the third time you know, was the success. It was my son. It was it wasn't an easy journey for me when I got pregnant because I ended up having hyperemesis. Yeah, hyperemesis. I could not say the other word, but yeah, it was. I ended up of not eating, not drinking, as in literally like I can't move my whole body. I've been to the different to the hospitals multiple times just because of that.
And during this time, you're still with your partner, correct? You know, I know you've gone through traumatic times. You know, you said twice you had a miscarriage, and then. But how was your relationship with your partner at the time when you were going through this?
The first time I got pregnant, we ended up having a huge argument. It wasn't a planned pregnancy. I did not want it. No, I did not plan it, and so you see. The second one is like I said to myself, okay, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't feel this is going to be a successful pregnancy anyway. But yeah, during the first time I got pregnant, there's multiple arguments. That's the very big the conflict between us is getting worse. There's a domestic violence going on. He tried to hurt me emotionally and mentally, and wasn't more like physically yet. but there is an occasional, you know. During the success of my pregnancy, it took me a while to tell my ex-partner about my pregnancy because I was very afraid of him. I'm afraid of what he can possibly do or what he can possibly say. I had to lie, you know, for the sake of my well-being and for the sake of my, you know, my son. So I gotta do the right thing. I've been contacting my midwife, and my midwife was the one who said to me, she said, you know, let me help you because you are in a domestic violence relationship right now. I tried to deny everything because I need to I need to protect my ex, you know, because I was blindly in love. Of course, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes because of that. And I'm so stupid and naive during that time. And I keep denying, and to the point where I said, yes, help me. And she referred me to the social worker for adults and for the IBA. And, you know, to the charity Filipino Pakingggan. And
Did you
I
also
would not,
go on? Did you also ask the social media for advice for
um,
help?
um, I did the first time, and it wasn't very that serious. More likely, I'm working with a charity and the IBA and the social worker. You know, I'm trying
Mhm.
to keep denying them, and so on. And I reached to the point where I contacted police already because of the domestic.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, when my ex lied and kicked me out, I was totally the money that he gave me is enough to support of, you know, for my accommodation and for the food. He told me that the 500 pounds would be enough for me going back home for the place to stay in for a few days. Once I going to book in an air a ticket, going back home, and for my food. Basically, it
So
wasn't enough. And it
wait,
was
Trina. So just to be clear, you told him you were pregnant at this point
yes.
with
I
the child,
told him
and
it
he
took
wasn't happy with it.
when after 2 months of, you know, hiding the pregnancy, when I finally had the courage to tell him the truth, he didn't stop of hurting me emotionally, verbally. At some point, he ended up hurting me physically, and
What are you telling?
I
You said did he want you to go back to the Philippines after he
yes,
found out you were pregnant?
correct.
Hmm. And what did you do?
Um, So what I did, I've been contacting different solicitors, different charities. At those point, he allowed me to stay until I left from his property, right? So, and I'm not able to eat properly at all. And he doesn't care if I'm eating or not, if I'm drinking or not, if I'm sleeping or not. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if I will die or be alive. You know, all he cares is he doesn't want any responsibility towards me and and our child. And he asked me multiple times to abort our child.
Hmm.
I accepted it at first time because I thought he did the right. I thought whatever he said about the abortion is the right thing. So I ended up, I, he drops me off to the hospital, and then before the appointment before the appointment of my for the abortion, my GP told me, tell me the truth. Do you really want this, or your ex really want this? And again, I deny it. I said I want it, and I defend my ex because I'm so stupid and naive. And during the day of the abortion appointment, they did an ultrasound to check if the baby's alive. I was already about 10 weeks pregnant, and they did an ultrasound. And for the very first time, I saw my son form as a human. And I said to myself, I can't do this. I can't afford this child. This is a life. There's already hands, a head, brain, or everything, and I can't. Um, when I told him, when I left to the hospital, he was so happy because he thought I already had the medication of, ridding off the baby and so on. And I said to him, no, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not, I'm not that really harsh type of person, killing, an innocent child. And that's the beginning of fighting with me, hurting me emotionally, verbally, physically, emotionally, and everything. And I was to the point of, what can I do? I want I want to save myself. I've been, and when I told the IBA about that, they asked me because a lot of shelters declined my application of staying over because of my abusive ex. And they said they cannot help me because I have no recourse in public funds. So I have no
Sheena,
choice but to stay with my ex.
you're very brave to tell us your story. I feel you there, and I can't imagine what you're going through really. But it's not something that everybody should go through. But my stepdad, he supports pro-life. You made the right decision, certainly, because your son is absolutely adorable, is gorgeous. But obviously, can I just ask you, why didn't you go back home and raise your child there? Obviously, you want to stay in the UK, but what's the reason, the main reason why you wanted to spend your time in the UK rather than Philippines?
My ex has a lifetime how can I say, a disease, and that kind of disease is like, there's no, it's not curable, but it can help to, how can I say this, it's like anti-inflammatory or something like that, but it would be very difficult for me personally finding it in Philippines. And at the same time, my son, to be honest, I mean, don't get me wrong. Philippines is a very lovely country. I was born and raised there, but I see my son, and
Well,
my
he's
son
British.
has a lot.
The fact is that the father is British. That makes your son British automatically, right? But this is the
Yes,
issue, Sheena. He didn't want to acknowledge he's the father. That's the problem, right? So
I told him about that. You should do the right thing.
yes,
Your
he
our
did it,
son.
did he? Yeah, he didn't do the right thing because we had to go through such rigorous process to make sure he is the father of your child. So let me put you on pause there, Sheena. Catch your breath because you are so brave. You've done a very good job. So thank you very much for sharing your story. Just hold on there because I'm going to introduce Micah now because Micah and I worked on your case, and it had to be um, done strategically because when you found out you were pregnant, we were thinking about, okay, how am I'm going to stay in this country. Your visa is running out soon. You didn't want to become an overstayer, so you were due, you had you're 10 weeks pregnant. You still far away till you deliver the baby. So what we're going to do, what we did is we applied to the home office while you were pregnant. We didn't have anything. We didn't have birth certificate. We didn't even have passport for the child, obviously, and nothing from the father. So, Micah, what
Yes.
did we do? You explain. So, Micah, a very brilliant trainee solicitor, and she's always hands on. As you know, Sheena, she's always there. Every step of the way. So, Micah, tell us what we did.
So in general, to apply for a visa based on the fact that you're a parent of a British child, you have to establish two main things. So the first thing is that the child's citizenship status. And the second thing is that the parent has parental responsibility over the child. Now, in order to prove a child's citizenship, generally it's pretty straightforward. So if they have a British parent, you can show proof of that parent's British passport and also the birth certificate to show that that is the paternal father or mother. The second one, which is parental responsibility, is shown through, letters from school, teachers, read health book, medical letters, just to show that you play an active role in this child's life. There are other requirements as well. So there's a financial requirement to show that you've been earning at least 18,600 per annum. So whether that's through self-employment, cash savings, employment, you've just got to show that through pay slips, bank statements, and there's also accommodation, so that your accommodation is not overcrowded, and that you're not relying on public funds. If the Home Office finds that you meet all of those rules, they'll grant you a visa called Leave to Remain as a Parent under the 5-year route. However, if they find that you don't meet all the immigration rules, however, due to your exceptional circumstances and your right to remain in the UK as a parent of a British child, they will grant it to you under the 10-year route. So this visa, however, is only valid for 2.5 years. So you will have to continuously renew until you meet that 5-year period or 10-year period.
Okay. That's a very good point, Micah. So she's basically highlighted the general requirements when applying under the 5-year route and the 10-year route. Unfortunately, Sheena, you didn't meet the requirements under the 5-year route, so we had to apply under the 10-year route because of your very special circumstances. So this has been the discussion of the day. When we made the application to the Home Office, we then made an application to the court for a DNA test, because unfortunately the father did not agree to put his name anywhere on the legal papers. And so we had to apply for DNA test to the court. So just briefly, Micah, the process on how we made the application.
Sure. So there's a specific form that we have to fill in. It's called the application for a declaration of parentage. And you're asking the court to basically order that the potential parent conduct a DNA test. In the form, you do have to explain why. So for this case, for example, it was to have him on the birth certificate. Once it's been processed by the court, they will set a court date. And in that court date, the judge will assess the facts of the case. So they'll hear from the applicant and the potential parent. And by the end of it, they may direct that a DNA test be carried out to confirm the child's parentage. Of course, if you're using legal representatives, we will also come with a list of DNA providers. And it will also be established in that hearing what DNA test provider they will both use to conduct the DNA test.
Okay, so at this point, the baby was born, and at that time, we were able to do the DNA test. So the baby and the father. So when we did that, it came positive, and so good result indeed. And then we obviously we were able to move forward with the application, and eventually you were granted leave to remain in the UK. So congratulations. But that's not the end of it. I'm just going to talk about quickly, because the fact that you were subjected to domestic violence, you were not able to work at all. Obviously, it's very expensive to make an application to the Home Office and any court fees. So just quickly, Micah, what did we have to do?
We have requested that the respondent, in this case, pay for the legal fees. Now, of course, as the judge highlighted in the hearing as well, a lot of the time there's no reason to not do the DNA test. It benefits the child as well as the mother. How could we establish that the child's British if we can't prove that they are the father? And unfortunately, when it comes to asking for the respondent to pay the cost, or for anyone to, of course, it's not met with warmth or positivity. So if the respondent's not cooperating, we will have to apply for a court order, and this is separate to the application for declaration of parentage as well.
We didn't have to pay for the actual court fee, did we? Because we applied for the fee exemption, and at the same time also with the immigration application, because the fact is that Sheena wasn't working, and the application itself was so expensive. So everything, thank God that went your way, so we didn't have to pay for all of that. Okay, so thank you, Micah. You did very well. I know. For the first time, welcome to One You Connect.
Thank you so much.
So Sheena, basically going back to you, again, thank you for taking part in this show, because what we're trying to show is that you can make an application as a parent of a British child, even though there is a question about the paternity. There's no, you can't prove who the father is, but we can do something about it. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank you, Sheena.
Take care. So that's it for today's topic. If you have any questions about this type of application, please do contact One You Connect, and then we can discuss about your situation. So over to you, Rose.
Crystal, and so refreshing also to have Micah on the show. Thank you for joining us, Micah. But this is a question for both of you. What is the difference between a criminal case and a paternity suit? Because my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you have a case which is criminal, the person is not forced, or you're not obliged to give your DNA sample. And here, the court here can actually summon the person.
Yes.
For the paternity.
Yeah. So they'll hear the reasons why they need this DNA test, and I guess for a lot of the time it's to establish a child's citizenship status, and being British obviously affords you a lot of rights. So your access to healthcare, education, and all of that. And I think that it's very important that we've got that in place, because it allows children whose parents aren't necessarily getting along to still have those rights regardless of their relationship status.
Yeah, it's for the best interest of the child. So if the other parent does not comply with the court order or court directions, they will be in contempt of court. So there will be penalty.
And how about the cost? Like, for example, the person or the Filipino who is applying for it, who's fighting the case, if that person doesn't have money, what amount are we talking about here to afford a solicitor as well as the process, the DNA test?
Thousands. It's not cheap. So we had to basically represent the client to say, look, she can't afford it. But the judge was being fair. We can't look into so much detail, but the judge was being fair, and we said she was actually destitute. She can't afford legal fees even. She was getting help from friends, and so we are going through the process about the legal fees with the other side, because she can't afford to make any more payments. But we were there, we were being fair. She couldn't get a legal aid. We're not legal aid firms, dice listers, but we wanted the main objective of this case is for her to have the leave to remain in the UK. It's not about money for us, really. It's really to help her stay in the country.
Wow, Crystal. So, para sa inyo, why did you take this case? Because you said it's not for the money. It's more about the principle. perhaps,
is, yeah.
wanting for her to win the case. So you felt that there was injustice from the start.
Absolutely. There's no question about it. It's about the child who is British, but the father did not recognize that, did not accept that. So I wanted to know if he's indeed the father, whether or not. I wanted to know. And the fact that she has to be with her child in the UK, she has every right to be here to raise a British child in the UK. So I think, we did that. We helped her to stay in the country through all this process, and I'm glad that we did.
Well, congratulations to both of you, or the three of you, power women. You fought it out, and
Actually, there's a guy who's involved in here.
let's not mention him.
Yes, just ask for now.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. According to Jay Montelibano MacLeod, our associate producer, very inspiring and informative, guys. Proud of you all. Thank you, Jay. Maraming salamat, Crystal Dias and Micah Lee. We will pause for a break before we say bye.
Living upside down, feeling anxious from the crowd.
Ako po si Chiara Gregorio.
Nagbabalik po ang JUANEUKONEK at napanood nyo naman very, very quickly. I just want to announce na nagbabalik na rin po ang live entertainment ng The Filipino Channel. This is what TFC does best, ang pagbibigay ng world-class entertainment. So, magkita-kita po tayo sa July 30 Apps Court in Surrey. And also tune in dahil magbibigay tayo ng mga tickets for our viewers na nanonood sa atin sa JUANEUKONEK. Crystal?
Yes, it looks amazing, by the way, because I've seen Bamboo, absolutely fantastic performer.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm looking forward to it if I get free tickets.
We shall arrange that, especially
Yes.
that you have done a wonderful job with the case of Sheena.
Yes.
Anyway, mabatiin ko lang yung mga nanonood sa atin ngayon. Carmen Hickey, mula po yan sa Kent. Nakita ko yung mami ko, Mami, Salud Eclarinal. Also, our mentee, nandito si Kyla. Kyla, hi Kyla, for sharing and for watching. And Dan Revelo was here a while ago. Also, I'd like to say congratulations to NFID UK. Jay and I were there last night for the celebration of the 10th year founding anniversary of NFID UK. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Officers, board members, tama ba? board of directors ng
Directors,
NFID UK and the
Trustees.
first and the current chairwoman and chairman of NFID UK. Congratulations for serving the Filipino community in the UK and in Europe through NFID UK and NFID Europe with the chairman, si Christian Estrada.
And the UK is Ronald Sipat. Is correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so nandyan po ang isang hapon na naman ng ating public service, pagbibigay sa inyo ng impormasyon, pagbibigay sa inyo ng inspirasyon through our stories and through our guests. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal. Ito po ang Kwentong Pinoy, Kwentong Migrante, Kwentong JUANEUKONEK.
And I'm Crystal Diaz.
Hanggang sa muli, sa JUANEUKONEK.
Juan, saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran, iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman, pinagmulan at babalikan, konting tiis na lang at hanggang